You can listen to the beginning in my previous videos. In conclusion, I'd like to mention a few more locations and interesting moments in the game. In the city, you can find a building with an almost exact copy of your apartment, except for a few unsettling details. In this apartment, you can discover several useful items and access another semi-secret location. You can choose to sleep in this pseudo-home, and if you're lucky enough to have a dream, but not an ordinary dream, a lucid one so you can control it, you'll find a trapdoor in the dream and can go through it. This leads you to the Red Rooms, another location I want to talk about. The other way to get into the Red Rooms is to stumble upon this location just by wandering around the city. Believe it or not, this way is even less guaranteed. Once inside the Red Rooms, you can freely explore this location. But the key condition for your survival there is not to look at the person in the chair. The moment you notice their silhouette, you must avert your gaze immediately. But even if you manage to resist looking at that person, staying in the Red Rooms for too long will cause you brain damage. Its effects will start to manifest a few days after returning. However, there's not much to see in this location, to be honest. Most of the rooms are semi-empty spaces with windows that are permanently sealed, revealing nothing outside. In one of these rooms, there's a table that's way too large for humans. In most rooms, you feel like a child in an adult world. In another room, 3 concrete steps rise from the floor, leading to nowhere. Yet another room houses a kind of device with a name something like Niedermeyer. No matter how much you look at this device, you can't figure out what it is. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. You can't even accurately gauge its size. Maybe it's massive, barely fitting into the room, but there's some optical illusion in play, making it seem small. When you interact with it, you're presented with 2 options, yes or no. But no question is asked. Overall, the Red Rooms are full of dangers. If you do happen to look at the person in the chair, you'll be overwhelmed by extreme pessimism. Not emotional pessimism, but rather intellectual, a kind of fatalistic existential disappointment. You'll realize you'll never win. Indeed, after this event, your chances of finding the true Earth will be reduced to 0. Afterward, the Red Rooms will disintegrate, and you'll return to where you were before entering this location. There is actually a way to safely look at the person in the chair and even converse with them, but I can't recall how to do it or what you can talk about. The game also features a library location where you can find a specific book if you know its title. If you don't, you can just browse the bookshelves and search for something interesting. I don't remember the exact book titles. I recall there were several books on advanced mathematics, a manual for telephone operators, a book on leg amputation, one about knife collecting, a book on cases of spontaneous human combustion. I remember an interesting detail. One of the locations can only be accessed after you've read about its existence in one of the books. In this book, the author claims that in the city, there's always been a passage to a secret, wondrous location hiding behind one of the inconspicuous doors passed by thousands of people daily. In the same book, the author also complains that people ignore his findings and don't believe him. Here's something else amusing. It's not a separate location, more of an event. Remember Dutch Hell, the creature with a megaphone for a head? Well, you can encounter him not only after death, but also in one of the regular events. In this event, you're talking to a woman at the door of her apartment, and over her shoulder, you can see Dutch Hell sitting at a table, peacefully slurping soup. If you manage to get his attention, you'll automatically receive an extra Dutch hell token, increasing the chances of him coming for you after your death. But if you do that, you won't be able to interact with the woman. She seems to be selling something. I think we can stop here. I can't recall anything else interesting, at least interesting to me. I may never find this game, and worse, it's maybe lost to the world forever. So I'm leaving these fragmented memories here to let it remain at least in this imperfect form.